Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, we're diving deep into a news bulletin, taking a look at some of the most impactful headlines coming out of India.
It's quite a mix, really. We'll cover everything from a major sports victory to government updates and some fascinating international collaborations.
We'll even be looking at some cutting-edge technology and how AI is transforming the cultural landscape. Our goal, as always, is to bring you the essential information, concisely, clearly, with the context you need to stay informed. So let's get right into it, starting off with something close to the hearts of millions of Indians cricket.
Ah, yes, the IPL is always a hot topic.
Definitely. And there was quite a thrilling match that just concluded. The Gujarat Titans took on the Mumbai Indians.
And what a match it was.
The Titans actually managed to secure a pretty convincing win, defeating the Mumbai Indians by 36 runs.
I heard that Sai Sutarsan was a real standout player for the Titans.
Absolutely. He really was.
Yeah.
This was his second consecutive half-century, scoring a remarkable 63 runs off just 41 deliveries.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, he's shown some serious talent. And he had some great support from his captain, Shubman Gill, who added a solid 38 runs to the total.
Of course, we can't forget Just Butler's contribution.
Oh, absolutely. His quick-fire 39 runs definitely added to the momentum. In the end, the Titans put up a competitive 196 for 8.
A tough target to chase, for sure. So how did the Mumbai Indians fare? Did any of their players stand out?
Well, on the bowling front, Hardik Pandya had a good run, picking up 2 wickets while conceding only 29 runs. But they faced some challenges early on in their chase.
What happened?
Mohammad Siraj from the Titans was just lethal with the new ball. He took out both Rohit Sharma and Ryan Rickleton quite early, putting immense pressure on Mumbai.
Those early wickets can really make a difference in a T20 game. It forces the remaining batsmen to play catch-up right from the start.
Exactly. Siraj finished with a fantastic figure of 2 wickets for 34 runs. It was a blow for Mumbai to lose their key batsman so quickly.
So how did Mumbai manage to recover?
Well, a mid-innings partnership between Surya Kumar Yadav and Tilak Varma really kept their hopes alive.
How many runs did they manage to put on?
It was a crucial 62-run stand that brought them back into the game.
Ah, so there was still a chance for Mumbai to pull off a victory.
It seemed that way for a while. But then things took a turn when Tilak Varma was dismissed for 39 by Prasidh Krishna.
Ah, that would have been a crucial wicket for the Titans.
It was. Krishna was bowling exceptionally well. He only gave away 18 runs and took 2 crucial wickets.
So that turned the tide for the Titans.
Definitely. Once Varma was out, the pressure really mounted on the Mumbai Indians, and they needed a much faster run rate.
And how did their star batsmen Surya Kumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya handle the pressure?
Well, Sri Kumar managed to score a well-played 48 before being dismissed in the 16th over.
That's unfortunate. It seems he was their last hope.
You could say that. And shortly after, Hardik Pandya also departed for just 11 runs. Those quick wickets sealed the deal for the Gujarat Titans.
So, a thrilling match for the fans at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. The IPL never fails to deliver when it comes to excitement, does it?
Never. Now, moving away from the cricket field, let's talk about some regulations that are making headlines during the Navratri festival.
Religious festivals often come with their own set of guidelines and traditions. What's happening?
Well, the Uttar Pradesh government has reiterated its ban on illegal slaughterhouses and meat sales near religious sites during Navratri. This isn't a new ban, though.
It's a recurring one, then.
Yeah, it was initially put in place back in 2014 and then reiterated again in 2017. And they're really emphasizing it this year.
I see. So how are they enforcing this ban this time around?
It's quite strict. The ban covers an area of 500 meters around religious sites and will be enforced right up until the end of Navratri, which is on April 6th.
That sounds pretty comprehensive. Are there any specific measures being taken to make sure people follow the ban?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, the Urban Development Principal Secretary, Amrit Abhijat, has directly instructed district magistrates, police chiefs, and municipal commissioners to implement all necessary steps.
Wow, that's going straight to the top. It shows how serious they are about this.
They've also set up district-level committees headed by the district magistrates to keep a close eye on the situation.
So they're really serious. Makes you wonder what the consequences are for violating the ban.
We'll get to that in a second. But first, there's a similar situation unfolding in a neighboring state, Madhya Pradesh.
Oh, really? Which city?
It's in Maihar, a town that's famous for the Ma Sharda Mandir.
Ah, a significant pilgrimage site. That makes sense.
Exactly. And because of the large number of devotees visiting during Navratri, they've implemented a complete ban on the sale and purchase of any non-vegetarian food.
So even stricter than the Uttar Pradesh ban.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Not only does it cover the usual meat and chicken, but it also includes fish and even eggs.
Wow, that's quite comprehensive.
And this ban is in effect from March 30th until April 7th, covering the entire Navratri period.
It really highlights the importance of religious observance in these
It
areas.
does, especially in Myanmar, which was officially declared a religious city earlier this year. And they've already got a ban on liquor shops there.
It seems like they're really focused on creating a specific atmosphere during these religious festivals.
Absolutely. And in Myanmar, this ban is being enforced under a specific legal provision, Section 163 of the Indian Civil Protection Code 2023.
I see. And what are the consequences if someone breaks this ban?
Well, violations can actually lead to imprisonment for up to a year. They're not taking this lightly at all.
It's definitely a strong message showing the authorities are committed to upholding these regulations during Navratri.
Now, shifting gears a bit, there's a concerning incident that happened in Ranchi, Jharkhand.
Ben?
Well, the Ranchi police were conducting a mock drill, and it ended up causing some serious problems for students at a nearby school.
A mock drill. What kind of drill and how did it affect the students?
It was a drill involving tear gas, and unfortunately, because of the strong winds that day, the gas drifted into a nearby government school.
Oh no, that's not good at all. Tear gas can be very dangerous if not handled properly.
Exactly. It caused severe respiratory problems among the students.
How serious were the effects?
2 young girls actually had to be hospitalized in critical condition. They've since stabilized at Sadar Hospital, which is a relief.
Thank goodness for that. It could have been much worse. Still, conducting a drill like that so close to a school seems like a major oversight.
It sparked a lot of outrage, that's for sure, especially from parents and local politicians.
They have every right to be upset. It sounds like a very dangerous situation.
Absolutely. Ranchi MLA and senior BJP leader CP Singh visited the hospitalized students and was extremely critical of the police.
I can only imagine what he had to say. I mean, conducting a drill like that during school hours seems incredibly reckless.
He stressed the need for these drills to be scheduled outside of school hours to prevent something like this from ever happening again.
It's common sense, really. You wouldn't want to put school children at risk like that.
Definitely. Now, the school principal, Josina Mishra, did acknowledge the incident. She commended the quick response of the Ranchi superintendent of police and the medical team, but...
I bet the parents are still very concerned.
Oh, absolutely. They're demanding much stricter safety protocols for any future drills.
Understandably so. This incident really highlights the need for careful planning and a thorough risk assessment, especially when it involves the safety of children.
Now let's move on to some positive news in the realm of international relations. We've got some exciting developments between India and Sri Lanka.
Oh, that's interesting. What's happening?
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka in early April, from the 4th to the 6th. During this visit, they're planning to sign several memorandas of understanding MOUs, as they're called.
And these MOUs usually signify some sort of agreement or collaboration, right?
Exactly. They outline cooperative efforts between the two countries.
So what are some of the areas these MOUs will cover?
Well, one of the most significant ones centers around the Indo-Lanka electricity grid connectivity project.
Oh, I've heard about this. A project with huge potential, isn't it? Tell me more.
It is. The plan is to build an undersea cable connecting Myanmar in Sri Lanka with South India.
That's a major undertaking. And what are the potential benefits of this project?
It's not just about sharing electricity. The bigger goal is to transform Sri Lanka into a regional energy hub. They could even export surplus renewable energy to India and possibly even other neighboring countries.
That's an ambitious goal, but also quite brilliant. And it aligns with the global push for renewable energy sources.
Absolutely. Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister, Vijitha Harath, has spoken about the economic and environmental advantages for both countries and how this project will bolster their commitment to renewable energy.
It's a win-win situation for both countries, really.
Definitely. It's a major step towards regional integration, particularly in the crucial area of energy.
And speaking of international collaboration, there's another significant development in the nuclear energy sector involving India and the United States. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it involves Holtec International, an American company that just got regulatory approval from the U.S. Department of Energy to design and build nuclear reactors in India.
That's quite a big deal, isn't it? I mean, nuclear energy collaborations are usually very sensitive.
You're absolutely right. This is a notable step forward in the India-U.S. civil nuclear cooperation.
So what does this approval entail exactly?
Well, it allows Holtec to transfer its small modular reactor, or SMR technology, to three Indian entities: Holtec Asia, Tata Consulting Engineers Ltd., and Larsen& Toubro Ltd.
SMR, it's a newer type of nuclear reactor technology, right?
Yes, it is. They're smaller and more modular compared to the traditional large-scale nuclear plants. And this technology transfer comes with some very stringent conditions.
I bet. Non-proliferation and all that.
Exactly. There are strict safeguards related to nuclear non-proliferation, and everything will be overseen by the IAEA.
Of course. And what about the purpose of these reactors? Are there limitations on how India can use this technology?
Absolutely. The authorization explicitly states that this technology transfer is for peaceful applications. Only that means strictly for enhancing India's nuclear energy capabilities. No military use whatsoever.
And I'm assuming there are restrictions on sharing this technology with other countries.
Oh, absolutely. No retransferring of this technology without direct consent from the United States.
Understandable, given the sensitivity surrounding nuclear technology. So what's the time frame for all this?
Well, the authorization is valid for 10 years. It's a significant commitment.
It seems like this has the potential to significantly boost India's nuclear energy program.
It does. And Holtec is already considering expanding its operations in Gujarat if this project moves forward. It's a big step towards fully realizing the potential of the 2007 India-US 123 Civil Nuclear Agreement.
This is a really fascinating development, and it raises the question, how will this impact India's existing nuclear program, which, if I'm not mistaken, largely relies on a different type of reactor technology?
You're right. India primarily uses pressurized heavy water reactors, PHWRs for short.
Right, the ones that use heavy water as a moderator.
Exactly. But this collaboration with Holtec introduces pressurized water reactor technology, or PWRs, which are more widely used internationally.
So India will now have access to two different types of reactor technologies, quite a significant development.
Definitely. It also positions India and the U.S. as potential competitors in the emerging SMR industry.
Oh, interesting. Competing with countries like China, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. And let's not forget, this ties into the global shift towards cleaner energy sources and could lead to some significant economic growth within India.
But I do recall reading about some concerns regarding India's nuclear liability framework.
Ah, yes, that's right. Some foreign companies have been a bit hesitant because of that framework. It's a complex issue that still needs to be addressed.
Makes sense. Let's move on. Now, for something a little different. I hear the Indian Meteorological Department, the IMD, is making headlines for its financial performance.
You heard right. It seems the IMD has become quite the revenue generator for the Ministry of Earth Sciences.
Really? That's not what typically comes to mind when you think of a weather department. How much revenue are we talking about?
Since 2022-2023, they've earned over 226 crore, which is a substantial sum.
Wow. So where is all this revenue coming from?
Well, their primary source of income is actually the aviation meteorological services they provide to the Airports Authority of India, the AAI.
Ah, that makes sense. Airports rely heavily on accurate weather information.
Exactly. And on top of that, they also make money from selling meteorological data, regular weather reports, and even testing and calibrating meteorological equipment.
It's impressive how they've diversified their revenue streams.
And they're doing consistently well, too. Just in the first half of this financial year, 2024-2025, they've already earned 66 crore just from their aviation services.
That's fantastic. So this revenue is helping them support important scientific programs.
Absolutely. It's all part of the ministry's goal to boost financial resources for vital programs, ensuring that the benefits of their work reach everyone.
It's great that they can fund their own initiatives and contribute to the betterment of society.
They've even developed a special data product specifically designed for the renewable energy sector, which is a huge area of growth right now.
That's impressive. And I hear that their efforts have been recognized at a high level.
Yes, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Science and Technology, Environment, Forests, and Climate Change, which is led by BJP MP Bhubaneswar Kalita, has actually commended the IMD for their efforts in achieving financial sustainability.
That's quite an accomplishment.
And they've also praised their work in monitoring severe weather events, particularly their medium-range forecasts, which can predict weather patterns up to 10 days in advance.
Those forecasts are essential for disaster preparedness and minimizing the impact of extreme weather events.
Absolutely. So the IMD is a shining example of an organization that not only provides a crucial public service, but also manages to generate substantial revenue.
Absolutely. Now let's turn our attention to a major humanitarian effort. India's response to the recent earthquake in Myanmar.
Yes, India has launched Operation Brahma, a large-scale, multi-agency relief effort to assist Myanmar in the aftermath of that devastating quake.
It's heartwarming to see a nation stepping up to help its neighbor in times of need. So how is India contributing to this relief effort?
While the Indian Air Force has been actively involved, they've already conducted 3 sorties, delivering essential supplies like food, medicines, and hygiene kits to the affected areas.
Airlifting supplies is often the quickest way to reach those in need after a disaster.
Exactly. And the Indian Navy is also playing a crucial role. They've dispatched 2 warships, INS Savitri and INS Sapura, which are currently en route to Yangon with additional aid.
That's significant. Warships can carry large amounts of supplies and personnel.
And they're not stopping there. 2 more naval vessels are being prepared to set sail from Port Blair soon.
That's quite a substantial naval deployment for a relief operation.
It really shows India's commitment to helping Myanmar recover from this disaster. And then there's the medical assistance. The Army is sending a large medical task force.
How large are we talking?
It's a 118-member team led by Lieutenant Colonel Jagni Gill. They're being flown to Myanmar on 2 IAF C-17 aircraft.
That's impressive. And I bet they're equipped with everything needed to provide immediate medical care.
They are. They have mobile medical units, X-ray machines, dental facilities, even a mobile operation theater.
Wow, that's incredible. They've really thought of everything.
And they're also setting up a 60-bed field hospital to deal with the immediate healthcare needs.
It sounds like a comprehensive and well-coordinated effort. What about search and rescue? Are teams already on the ground?
Oh, yes. An 80-member team from the NDRF, along with their specially trained search and rescue dogs, are already in Mandalay.
Mandalay was the epicenter of the earthquake, right?
That's right. And NDRF Deputy Inspector General Mohsen Shahidi has stressed that the next 24 to 48 hours are absolutely critical for finding survivors.
Those initial hours after an earthquake are always the most crucial for rescuing people trapped under the rubble. It's a race against time.
Absolutely. And Prime Minister Modi has personally reached out to Myanmar's Senior General Min Aung Hlaing to offer condolences and assure him of India's full support during this crisis.
That's good to hear. And are there any updates about Indian citizens in Myanmar?
As of now, there are no reports of any Indian casualties. The government is in close contact with community organizations there to assess the situation and coordinate relief efforts.
That's reassuring. It's a testament to the strong ties between the two countries.
Operation Brahma really highlights India's dedication to helping a neighbor in need, and it's an example of the kind of regional solidarity that we need to see more of.
I agree. Switching gears a bit, let's talk about an exciting development on the economic front. The Union Cabinet has approved a major scheme aimed at boosting India's manufacturing sector.
Yes, the Electronics Component Manufacturing Scheme. It has a huge budget, 22,919 crore.
That's a significant investment. Clearly, the government is serious about this.
They are. They're projecting that it'll attract around 59,350 crore in new investments. Plus, they expect it to create over 91,600 direct jobs, with the potential for many more indirect jobs in the sector.
That's a massive boost to the economy. So what exactly is this scheme all about?
The main objective is to make India more self-reliant when it comes to the electronics supply chain.
Reducing dependence on imports, then. A strategic move, considering the global supply chain disruptions we've seen in recent years.
Exactly. It also aims to stimulate technological innovation and promote economic growth within the country.
What specific segments of the electronics manufacturing ecosystem will this scheme target?
It's a comprehensive approach covering crucial areas. This includes vital subassemblies like display and camera modules, as well as basic components like multi-layer printed circuit boards and lithium-ion cells, all essential for a wide range of devices.
So it's not just about finished products, but building up the entire manufacturing ecosystem from the ground up.
Exactly. And to make this happen, they're offering some attractive incentives to encourage companies to invest.
What kind of incentives are we talking about?
They're using a dual approach: capital expenditure-based incentives and turnover-based incentives. The idea is to attract investments in advanced manufacturing technologies and infrastructure, which will make India more competitive on a global scale.
That's smart. They're not just handing out money, but incentivizing companies to actually build capabilities. And what about job creation? Any specific initiatives to encourage companies to hire more people?
Yes, they've included additional incentives specifically linked to the number of jobs created. It's a strategic move to boost domestic employment.
It's good to see that job creation is a key consideration in this scheme.
Definitely. Especially considering that India's electronics production has been growing steadily, with a compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of over 17% in recent years.
That's impressive growth.
And their exports in this sector are even better, a CAGR of over 20%.
So they're building on an already successful foundation.
Exactly. This scheme aims to build on previous initiatives to further strengthen India's position in the global electronics value chain.
Exciting times for the Indian electronics industry, then. What's the next step for this scheme?
We're waiting for the detailed guidelines to be released, which will give us a clearer picture of how everything will work on a practical level. But overall, it's a very promising development.
Let's move on to another area where some interesting changes are afoot. Indian football.
Yes, the All India Football Federation, or AIFF, is proposing some pretty significant reforms to its constitution.
I've been hearing about this. Sounds like they're looking to modernize the governance structure.
Exactly. They're aiming to make things more inclusive and democratic.
So what kind of changes are they proposing?
Well, one of the biggest changes concerns the AIFF's executive committee. They're planning to expand it to 14 members, including 5 former national players.
That's a good idea. Bringing in former players' perspectives can be incredibly valuable. They understand the game at a deeper level.
Absolutely. And to ensure greater diversity, at least 2 of these player representatives have to be women. They'll be nominated by a newly established National Players Association.
That's a great step towards inclusivity. It's essential to have diverse voices represented in decision-making bodies.
Definitely. They're also setting some limits for those holding office within the AIFF.
Limits on what?
Well, no one can hold office for more than 2 terms, each term lasting 4 years. And there's a mandatory cooling-off period before they can run for office again.
That makes sense. It prevents the concentration of power in the hands of a few individuals and encourages fresh perspectives.
Absolutely. And there's an age limit, too. 70 years old is the cap for holding any official position within the AIFF.
Ah, I see. Ensuring that leadership stays dynamic and relevant. So, what about the AIFF's general body? Any changes planned there?
Yes, they're proposing some significant changes to the composition of the general body, which is the main decision-making body of the AIFF.
And what are those changes?
They're planning to reduce the representation of individual state football associations to a single vote each, down from the current 2 votes per state.
I see. So, less emphasis on regional representation.
In a way, yes, but at the same time, they want to make the general body more inclusive by adding representatives from other stakeholders.
Oh, that's interesting. Who else will be included?
Representatives from clubs participating in the Indian Super League, the I-League, and the Indian Women's League, as well as representatives for referees, coaches, and prominent former players.
That's a really good idea. It ensures that all stakeholders have a voice and are involved in shaping the future of Indian football.
And here's something pretty significant. They want to introduce a no-confidence motion mechanism.
That's interesting. It's quite a strong measure.
It is. It would allow the removal of office bearers, including the president of the AIFF, through a vote of no confidence, a provision that hasn't existed before.
So, potentially, a significant shift in power dynamics within the AIFF.
It definitely has the potential to change things up.
And these reforms, they still need to be approved, right?
Yes, they need final approval from the Supreme Court. If they get the green light, there's a chance that elections could even be held before the current term of the office bearers ends in 2026.
So this could happen sooner rather than later. It seems like a major step towards a more transparent and accountable governance structure.
Definitely. These proposed reforms are based on the recommendations of a previous committee of administrators and were prepared by Justice Nageswara Rao.
It will be interesting to see how this all unfolds and what impact these reforms will have on the future of Indian football.
Now, on to some positive news for the economy. We've got a big foreign investment announcement.
Always good news. Which company and what sector are we talking about?
It's a major German chemical company, and they're planning to invest a whopping $1.5 billion in India.
That's a huge investment and a great sign of confidence in the Indian economy.
Absolutely. It's a significant boost for foreign direct investment in India.
I wonder where they're planning to set up their operations.
They've already identified a 250-acre plot of land near a port as the potential site for their project.
Being close to a port makes sense for a chemical company. Easier for transportation and logistics.
Exactly. And Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that the company is finalizing the agreement and will be meeting with a relevant state's chief minister soon to iron out the details.
So this is pretty much a done deal then?
It seems that way. And this investment comes at a time when the Indian government is actively working on improving the business environment.
What kind of initiatives are they taking?
Well, they're doing things like simplifying regulations, decriminalizing minor offenses related to businesses, and they're even proposing legal reforms under the Jan Vishwa's 2.0 bill.
It sounds like they're trying to create a more investor-friendly environment.
Exactly. The goal is to make it easier for businesses to operate and to attract more foreign investment.
And this approach seems to be working, judging by the German company's decision to invest such a substantial amount.
Minister Goyal has emphasized that the aim of these reforms is to reduce unnecessary bureaucracy and make things simpler for both businesses and citizens.
It's all about streamlining processes and making it easier to do business in India.
Exactly. And this large-scale investment from Germany really aligns with India's vision of becoming a major player in the global supply chain, boosting its manufacturing capabilities, and reducing its reliance on imports.
It's a clear sign of the growing international confidence in India's economic potential.
Now let's move on to a collaboration that's bringing together academia and the Indian Army.
Ah, that sounds interesting. Which institution is involved?
It's IIT Kanpur, and they've partnered with the Indian Army's headquarters Central Command.
A leading technical institution collaborating with the military. I'm intrigued. What's the focus of this partnership?
They're going to jointly develop advanced training systems for those who operate drones and unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs.
That's a hot topic these days. Drone technology is evolving rapidly, and there's a growing need for skilled operators.
You're absolutely right. And their initial focus is on creating a remote piloting training module, or RPTM, and a software-in-the-loop simulator, or SITL.
So they're basically creating sophisticated simulations to train drone operators?
Exactly. The idea is to improve the skills of the operators while also minimizing risks and reducing the cost of traditional live training exercises.
Simulations are becoming increasingly important in various fields. They offer a safe and controlled environment to practice complex tasks and procedures.
And with drone technology, it's essential to train operators thoroughly. These simulations will cover various scenarios, from reconnaissance and surveillance to tactical strikes.
It sounds like a comprehensive training program.
It is. The Memorandum of Understanding for this partnership was signed in the presence of Lieutenant General Anindya Sengupta, the GOC&C of Central Command, and some of the top faculty from IIT Kanpur, including Dr. G.M. Kamath and Dr. Subramaniam Sadarla.
So, a high-level commitment from both sides.
Professor Manindra Agrawal, the director of IIT Kanpur, spoke about how this partnership leverages IIT Kanpur's expertise in aerospace engineering and advanced simulation technologies.
It's a great example of how academic institutions can contribute to national security and defense capabilities.
Absolutely. Dr. Sadarla also emphasized that these training modules will significantly enhance the precision and safety of drone operations for the Indian Army.
Precision and safety are paramount when it comes to drone technology. It's good to know they're prioritizing those aspects.
And they're aiming to complete the project within 6 months. A pretty tight time frame, which shows their commitment.
This partnership represents a significant step forward in developing indigenous defense technology capabilities.
And hopefully it'll pave the way for more collaborations between academia and the military.
Absolutely. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about something a little lighter. I hear there's a fascinating exhibition in Delhi that's shining light on a simple yet profound symbol of Indian culture, the Gamcha.
Yes, it's called Gamcha, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. It's a celebration of the cultural and social significance of the Gamcha, the traditional Indian scarf.
That's interesting. It's a common sight in India, but I never really thought of it as having such deep cultural significance.
It really does.
Yeah.
The exhibition has over 250 different types of Gamchas from 14 states across India.
Wow. That's quite a diverse collection.
It is. You can see everything from the simple and practical designs from Kerala to the intricately patterned cotton ones from Assam.
That's incredible. It really showcases the rich textile traditions across different regions of India.
The exhibition was curated by Jaya Jaitley of the Daskari Hat Samiti, and her goal was to highlight the Gamcha as more than just a piece of cloth. It's a symbol of social equality and represents the craftsmanship of regional artisans.
It's great to see that they're showcasing the work of local artisans.
Absolutely. And this exhibition reflects a broader trend in India, where textile exhibitions are moving beyond just showcasing high-end designers from big cities. They're now embracing the diversity of craft traditions from all over the country.
It's a positive shift towards inclusivity. It's about recognizing the talent and skills of artisans from all walks of life.
Other recent exhibitions, like Textiles of Bengal and Pampa, Textiles of Karnataka have also focused on showcasing lesser-known textiles and the work of marginalized communities like the Lambanis and Sidi tribes.
It's essential to preserve these traditions and bring them to a wider audience. What are some of the unique elements that are being incorporated into these exhibitions?
Well, they're going beyond static displays. They're adding historical context, live demonstrations of traditional weaving techniques, and even cultural performances to create a more immersive experience for visitors.
That sounds amazing. It's like taking a journey through the rich tapestry of Indian textile traditions.
Exactly. There's also a growing movement to integrate textiles into contemporary art, as we saw in the recent Surface exhibition in Jodhpur.
That's exciting. It's about pushing